Hi everybody, Greg at the Dice Must Flow. Today we're going to take a look at the newly released Warhammer Skirmish. As you can see, the book just came out, and we're going to take a look, dig into it, and see what it's all about. Alright, let's dig into Warhammer Age of Sigmar Skirmish. The game uses all the War Scroll battalions and units that are described in the Age of Sigmar battle tomes. So you would have to have those models or those units to play. They also have come out with special sets, that war bands that are pre-built and include quite a good savings. So you may want to look at those. So here we go. The Skirmish Rules. Basically this is a 40-page book at an incredibly cheap introductory price of $10. So I was amazed that it was just that cheap. But anyway, so here we go. We got the 40-page book, and starts off with how to use the book, and basically tells you that there's going to be skirmish rules. They're going to include a thing for making a roster. It's got skirmish battle plans, match play rules, and rules on how to create your warband. So the first thing they do is they give you a little bit of history, the vengeance of Azir, and this goes into how the Age of Sigmar began. Basically the story of Sigmar and how he launched the Stormcast Eternals to fight back against Chaos. They have a little more background talking about how the mortal realms exist. Some people call this Bubblehammer, but there are different planes of existence connected by portals, and each of these different planes are the mortal realms. In Age of Sigmar they have the realm of fire, heavens, metal, beasts, light, shadow, life, and death. And so this kind of gives a quick description of each of them. Then it goes into the Spire curse. Now Spire, they tell you here, is a city that is in the Desert of Bones in the realm of death, and it became a great metropolis of trade. Basically it was ruled by the Cataphrines. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. You can see Cataphrines, and they eventually developed trade and treasure, but one of the things that they did develop was shade glass. And that kind of goes into this history here. But shade glass was a way to preserve people's souls when they died. And so this upset Nagash, the god of undead, and he cursed the city and basically wiped it out of reality. Every living creature was siphoned into oblivion. When Nagash wiped out the souls of the city was still there, and the treasures remained. Few can ignore the rumors of the soulless city and the fabled artifacts of power that are held within. And so this is the background of where the skirmish campaign takes place. Moving on, we see that there are the skirmish rules, and a nice picture of many of the units in Age of Sigmar. And so it talks about skirmish battles and battle plans. Each player needs to create a warband, but each figure is unique and acts unique. So if you have several figures, for example, if you were going to say a warrior of chaos, you could have several warriors of chaos, but each would act independently. Each unit is treated as a single unit, and you don't have to stay within 1 inch of other units. Each unit is led by a general. So you have one hero you're going to have to use when you build your warband. Battle shock. They basically say have rules about how to handle battle shock. Instead of having battle shock for each unit that is attacked, you have battle shock for your whole army, and you use your general's bravery. If you roll above the general's bravery number, then additional models are used. They made a really good decision here with summoned units, basically saying there is no summoning in this game. probably it would just be too overpowering. So they have rules about command abilities, artifacts of power, and mysterious terrain. So again, Age of Sigmar, when you roll it, you randomly set up your terrain, you have mysterious terrain, but they have different types of terrain here than they did in Age of Sigmar. And they have different command abilities and artifacts of power that you can pick for your leaders or your general in your warband. Next up, they have they present a campaign, and this is the Shadespire campaign, where you start with a smaller troop, fight each battle, you get rewards, and then fight the next battle. And this is really done with essentially there are 6 scenarios in the campaign in this book, and so each of these 6 scenarios make up the campaign. And so that's pretty cool, because I really like having some purpose for playing other than just smash face. They also have rules for match play, how to do match play if you were going to be in like tournaments, and rules for tournaments actually. So here's the first of the 2 scenarios. They have a clash at dawn, a treasure hunt scenario, fragile cargo, vortex of power, assassinate, and seize the relic. Next, they have several pages of the miniatures in Age of Sigmar that are painted, and different battlefields that you could build or represent. And finally, you get to really probably the thing that most people were wanting this book for, and that's how to choose a warband. When you're choosing a warband, all models must be drawn from the same Grand Alliance. Your warband must include a minimum of 3 heroes, one of which must be a hero. And you can ignore minimum unit size requirements on a war scroll. For example, it says you have to have a minimum of 5. You can go ahead and get 1. And you can only include each war scroll once in your warband. Here's the points that we have for chaos units. Chaos again. Death, destruction, order, destruction over here, and Stormcast Eternals for order. And then they have basically a roster for you when you're building up your warband. And so that's the Warhammer Skirmish rulebook. Just some comments on it. I think here you're starting to see Games Workshop pulling away from their old world and legacy models. You may have noticed there's really no legacy war scrolls in here, or they do not have points, for example. So there's no characters of the old world, there's no Tomb Kings, Bretonnia, or Empire, unless they were part of free peoples that were rebranded. And I guess that's really the key. Basically, if something has been rebranded, it's in here. If not, it isn't. So things like Dark Elves from the Dark Elf Scrolls, or High Elves from the High Elf Scrolls, are not in here unless they're like the Darkling Covens or the Daughters of Cain were rebranded. So basically the gist of this is basically if there's they currently are selling the model, then you're going to have access to it in the skirmish game, but if not, then it's not supported. The other thing I noticed is there really isn't, they don't have the little 4-page rule supplement for Age of Sigmar in here, and I'm not sure why, but I guess I'm thinking that when the General's Handbook, the next one, comes out, there might be some errata or changed rules with how they're dealing with the little 4-page rule book. Maybe they're going to make it a little more detailed, and so they're going to, by having it not in here, they're going to just basically say refer to the Age of Sigmar rules. I hope that that's what's going to happen. I'm really excited to try and play this because a lot of times I don't have time for bigger battles and stuff, and so I think that this will help us get a little bit of gaming in, even though we don't have a lot of time. And I love painting, And the other thing that's really kind of cool about this is by having just the small bands, it lets you kind of experiment. So like, I don't really have any Stormcast Eternals, but maybe I, would want to build just a small band for this game of Stormcast. It kind of lets you play around with many of the different factions. So anybody that gets hobby wobble just because they like the look, I think that will help. That's our review. I think that if you like Age of Sigmar, you're going to like this system. If you don't like the War Scroll, then you're not going to like this. So, overall, I like this book. Haven't had a chance to play, but if you're an Age of Sigmar fan, you probably want to pick this up and give it a try. And that's our summary for the Warhammer's Age of Sigmar Skirmish game. If you liked this review, or you've liked any of my other reviews, take a look over in the right on the bottom of the screen. You should see a subscribe button. If you get a chance, please subscribe to my channel, and we will have more gaming goodness coming your way. Thanks.